What's going on, guys? I'm Orel, also known as Swag Tech, and this is the basics video. Vaping 100. So we haven't even gotten to 101 yet. This video is going to do a lot, though, without doing a whole lot at the same time. The whole point of this video is so that you can learn enough to start your own research. You can learn enough from this video to be able to go and post a question somewhere and completely understand the response that you get back. And that's the important part. If you were to go to a forum right now, let's say that you're sight unseen on electronic cigarettes, and as far as you got was Steven Dorff in a blue commercial. Electronic cigarette forum will give you so much information on the first page alone, you'd be completely lost and turned off to the idea. There's a lot out there, and it's all Greek if you haven't done the research before. So I decided to, collect the main points of what someone should know going in so that they can ask the proper questions going in to understand what they need to do or what that first kit should be and all that good stuff. Just how to get started. And I'm not going to make any definitive recommendations, so this will not tell you the perfect setup to start. Nobody can tell you that. What this will do is this will give you the launching pad for your research to figure out what's going to be right for you. And that's the important thing. Vaping is completely personal. You're the only person doing this. There are a lot of people there to support you and help you. Our community is large, and our community is very loving, and it's giving, and everyone will help you. But at the end of the day, it's you, your personal taste, your personal preference. So you're going to have to put in the research to find out what's going to work best for you. And I'm going to help you. So we're going to deal with the basics. I'm going to tell you what an electronic cigarette is, exactly how it works without being way too technical. Give you a couple safety points on, is it safe or not. And then I'm going to give you some terminology that's being used so you can understand the answers that you get in return to your questions. And then I'm going to make a suggestion about your first e-liquid purchase. And we'll get into that. And that's important to me to have in this video. So I'm going to do it. So we're just going to jump into it. I have my notes here, and I really would suggest that you pull up a notepad and another screen and just type out some notes or write some of this stuff down. I'm going to go as slow as I can, but not too slow. Because if you get too slow, then it becomes boring and you may not even make it to the end. So I'm going to get through the information. The first question that I get when someone sees me with my PV and I'm vaping is, what is that? My first answer is, well, it's an electronic cigarette. It's an alternative to smoking. That's simple. Then they say, well, how does it work? All right, that's a better question. So, the basics of an electronic cigarette breaks down to 3 parts. Simple. You got your battery, which is here on this particular model. So you got your battery here. You got your atomizer up here. And then inside this particular one, I have e-liquid. So it's those 3 things. When you break that down, of course you got your battery that powers the setup. That's pretty self-explanatory. Then you have your atomizer. And what an atomizer is, and they come in different shapes, and the same goes for batteries, and the same goes for e-liquids and colors. So this isn't definitive, this is just an example. But what an atomizer is it's a heating element. It's a coil. And that coil of wire will heat up and use a low level of heat to vaporize the e-liquid, and that's where your vapor comes from. As far as the e-liquid goes, it's comprised of 4 parts. And with the e-liquid, you have propylene glycol, which is used in medicines, and it's also a preservative in foods. You have vegetable glycerin, which is also used in medicines and is a preservative of foods. You have flavorings, and they're food grade flavorings that are used in candies, bakery items, sodas, stuff that we use every day. I mean, all three of those items are stuff that we use every day. And then you have nicotine, and that's your e-juice. So all of that works together to give you vapor, to give you that sensation of smoking, to give you that inhale, that big cloud of vapor on the exhale, and that just all around feel good moment. That's how the magic happens. Next question I get after I go through that is it safe? No. No. I can't sit here and tell you that vaping is safe, that using an electronic cigarette is safe. The reason why is because it has nicotine in it. And there's no such thing as a safe product containing nicotine. Nicotine will absorb through your skin. In the case of vaping, it absorbs through the membrane of your mouth. So when you actually pull the vapor into your mouth and breathe in, that's really in your mouth is where you're getting your nicotine, not necessarily your lungs. So there's no such thing as a safe product using nicotine, and that goes for the patch, and that also goes for the gum. Go figure. Now, there are studies on electronic cigarettes, and I'm going to read what I have here because I don't want to mess anything up. It's worded in such a way to CYOA, and I understand that. So I'm going to word it exactly how I have it here so that my ass is covered. Studies strongly suggest that e-cigs are much safer than traditional cigarettes. Switching can reduce health risks to less than 1% of smoking traditional cigarettes. Nearly the same as a non-smoker. So that's what studies have suggested, that you remove 99% of harm by switching to electronic cigarettes. And when I say harm, I mean 99% of the issues that you'd have from smoking to less than 1%. So you take that with a grain of salt and take that however you want to. I will say this: I am very close to being a non-smoker, and my life has improved greatly through switching. I used to be on the swim team. I used to play sports. I used to be in the band. I didn't pick up a cigarette till I was 19 years old, and I was already in college. And there were a lot of things that I couldn't do through smoking that I didn't even realize that I couldn't do anymore until I started vaping, and I was able to do them again. You know, starting back working out again, being able to breathe, being able to taste. Oh man, having my teeth not be as yellow as they once were. They're just a lot. There's always a siren going on when I'm doing my videos. I don't know. But there's a lot that I can do that I couldn't do before, and I feel better. And yeah, you take that however you want to take it. So, I'm going to take a vape while that car, siren, whatever passes my window. I live off a pretty main street. Okay, they're gone. Thanks for that. All right, now, to terminology. So, yeah, we're back to studying. But to terminology, basically, you have what you need in the first portion to understand what an electronic cigarette is, how it works, the whole safety issue. You have that understanding, and it's very brief, but that general knowledge is really what a lot of veteran vapors is really all they had starting. And I mean that's more than I had starting. So it's a good bit of information. And if you don't have it down, I mean, rewind it. It's a video. You can watch it again. You'll get it. Now we're going to talk about terminology. And the whole purpose of talking about the terminology is so that you understand the answers that you get in return. So when you ask that initial question, hey, I've been reading up, I've seen this kit and that kit, and I don't know exactly which one would be right for me. Here's my smoking situation. Anybody used to smoke the way that I did or smoke my brand? How did that feel for you? Well, is this a good kit? Does this kit work out? Is this a quality kit? When you're asking those questions, you're going to get back responses, and those responses will either look like complete Greek and code to you, or they're going to make sense. And they'll make sense if you have a hold on this general idea here. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Terminology. Of course, vaping, vape, vapor, vapor, all of that. That's self-explanatory. Analog is just another word for cigarette. An electronic cigarette is digital. A Newport is an analog. PV or mod. PV is a personal vaporizer. It's an electronic cigarette. So is a mod. It just is what it is. Of course, we discussed the atomizer's function, but I haven't shown you exactly what an atomizer is, what it does, or anything. Well, I showed you what it does, but I didn't show you what it is. So I'm going to grab one. Alright, so this is an atomizer. And I'm going to try to hold this in such a way that you can see it. Keep in mind that I actually have a camera, so I can't see what you see. And I'm going to try to hold this so that you can actually get in there and see what's in there. There's a coil down there, and it's surrounded by mesh, and that's wicking material, but there's a coil in there. And the way the atomizer works is either you have a cartridge that's filled with a wicking material and juice, and you push that in there, and that's what feeds it down. They really don't sell those anymore. They didn't work well. Or you drip, and that's what most people will do if they're using an atomizer. And you drip a couple of drops, and you'll vape it till it's gone, and then you'll drip another couple of drops and vape it till it's gone, and that's how you'll vape. So that's that's an atomizer. Sorry. This is a cartomizer, and they come in different sizes as well. Just like atomizers will come in different shapes and sizes, so will a cartomizer. This is a small one. But I picked this one because I know you can see in there. And basically, it's an atomizer with a cotton-like filler material. It's called polyfill. And basically what that does is that holds juice. If you can see that, I'm sure you saw that color, that's juice there. You fill that polyfill up with juice, and it'll soak up all that juice, and then you can leave. You don't have to keep dripping. And as you go through the day, you'll vape it, and then when it gets dry, you'll put some more juice in there and refill it, and it'll soak it up, and you go at it again. It holds more than an atomizer. So instead of dripping, now you're at a point where you're toting around a couple cartomizers or cartridges, and you're just exchanging them out when they get dry, and then refilling them when you get back home or what have you. The other thing is a clearomizer. A clearomizer is actually what I have here on top of this ego. And what a clearomizer is the same basic premise as a cartomizer. The only difference is instead of having that space filled with filler material, it's open. And you fill that tank up with juice. You fill that space up with juice. And there are wicks that kind of float in the juice, and they wick it to the coil. They bring that juice to the coil. And that's how that works. So, atomizer, you drip with. Cartomizer, you fill up, and when it dries out, you refill it. Clearomizer, you put it in the tank or the space, and it wicks to the coil, and when the tank is empty, you refill it. That's how it works. When you hear the term tank, it's just like you'd think. I mean, like a gas tank. I mean, it's a tank for liquid. They do make tanks for cartomizers, so you may hear carto tank. Maybe someone will recommend that to you. If they do recommend a carto tank, then this is what it is. I have a cartomizer in there, and basically, the juice surrounds the cartomizer. I have holes punched in the cartomizer, and as I vape throughout the day, the juice gets sucked into the holes. It resaturates that filler material, and it just allows me to hold more juice. It's just more convenient, is all. So that's that. Got it? Okay. Moving on to juice. And I'm just going to jump to juice. We're not going to get into VV and VW for a couple videos. Not the next video. Maybe not even the next video. Maybe the third video. Maybe the one closer to the end of the month. But I'm going to get to juices because this is important. Without juice, nothing works. I mean, if it's dry, it won't supply. I just made that up, and I think that's corny. But whatever. It's not going to work. With juices, you have ratios. So remember I told you that there are 4 ingredients in juices. You got PG, that propylene glycol, VG, vegetable glycerin, flavoring, and nicotine. So that's what you're working with. Now the flavoring is going to be whatever flavor you choose. So that's pretty obvious. You have a ratio of PG to VG. Okay? So you can get 20% PG and 80% VG. Me personally, I vape 50-50, half and half. The importance of this is what you get out of your juice based on your ratio. So in order to understand this, I'm just going to tell you what PG does and what VG does when it comes to juice. So PG, more PG will give you more of a throat hit, which is that kick in the back of your throat when you're smoking a cigarette. You're going to want some of that. You're going to need at least a little bit of that to recreate that sensation of actually smoking. If it's just breathing in air, then it's probably not going to do it for you. So you're going to want some kick. PG gives you that throat hit, and it also carries the flavor better. So if you have an all PG juice, it's going to give you a great throat hit. It's going to give you great flavor. But VG gives you clouds of vapor. So if you have an all PG juice, you're not going to get as much vapor or smoke as you would with an all VG juice. That's why we come up with our ratios. How much VG, how much PG. Well, PG, then VG. Yeah. Now, the nic level is the other thing that is adjustable when it comes to juice. The nic level is important. If your nic level or nicotine level or how much nicotine you have in there, if it's too high, the juice is going to just wreck the back of your throat. I'm going to be completely honest. It's going to claw on the way down, and it's going to claw on the way up. It's going to burn, and it's going to feel very, very harsh. It's important to find your level. You want enough nicotine in the juice to keep you from smoking cigarettes, but you don't want so much that it's hard to actually vape it. Me personally, I use 18 milligrams. Been using 18 milligrams for a good while. Don't see myself changing. I get a nice throat hit. I get good vapor. I enjoy it, and I stay off cigarettes. It works for me. And when I say 18 milligrams, that's 1.8% of nicotine. So in this big bottle here, it's only 1.8% nicotine. Now you see how it's working? It's not a lot of nicotine, right? Yeah, it's probably, I don't know, because I don't know how much nicotine is in a cigarette. But I'm assuming that there's less than a pack of cigarettes worth of nicotine in this bottle. That's a pretty safe assumption, right? This bottle, if I were to only use this and nothing else, which I kind of have, but this bottle will last me, if I didn't use anything else, it'll last me 2 weeks. So I've dropped myself down to a pack a week smoker. 2 packs a week smoker, whatever. Math is not my strong suit. But anyway, your nic level is important though. And so it runs usually in 6 milligram levels. So it goes from 0 nicotine to 6 milligrams, to 12 milligrams, to 18, to 24, to 32, so on and so forth. Generally, that's how it's done. This is my juice recommendation for new vapors. Once you figure out what kit you want to get, I always recommend ordering the kit and juice separately. If juice comes with your kit, that's fine. Take that juice. Don't turn down good juice. But you want to order some more. Don't think that you're just going to take the juice that came with the kit and run with it. You're going to want to order some more, and there's a reason. So, when you find out what kit you want to get, or you settle on the perfect kit for you, then you look at your budget, and whatever's left, you want to order 3, maybe 4 different variations of juice. So, if I got $20 left, and I want to order, some $5 samples, or some $5 bottles, then I may order 1 strawberry, and that strawberry may be 20% PG, 80% VG at 24 milligrams. Then I may order a watermelon, and the watermelon may be 50-50 at 12 milligrams. And do it that way. That way you get variety, and you're able to find out within your first couple of orders exactly what's right for you, so you're not chasing forever. Because you will chase that perfect vape. Because this isn't right and this isn't right. You want to get that out of the way in the beginning. Like I said, with me, wherever I shop for juice, it's 50-50, 18 milligrams. I know that. And so you want to find that as soon as possible so you don't waste any money on something that you can't vape. Okay? All right. That's pretty much it. Oh, there is one other thing about my juice recommendation. It ain't gonna taste like a cigarette. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you buy. I don't care what they recommend. I'm gonna be honest with you. And if they recommend something completely different, they are lying. And if you feel like I'm lying, tell me in the comments below. E-juice does not taste like a cigarette. There's no way that you can replicate burning tobacco. We're not burning anything. So, if you want to try out some tobacco flavors, that's fine. I mean, if you're a tobacco aficionado, maybe you like to smoke the pipe, not that pipe, the tobacco pipe, or cigars, or something like that, then there are tobacco flavors that are out there. And I'll say it the same way I say to everyone else, and this is just my take on tobacco flavors. This is what I've learned. And I do like some tobacco flavors. But I've learned that they taste more like they smell. So pull out your pack of cigarettes and smell them when they're fresh. You know that good smell? That's how tobacco flavors taste. They taste like they should taste. It's going to taste like the tobacco and not the burning tobacco. So when you're mixing up those different juices in your first order, maybe get a tobacco flavor. You smoke Newports, maybe get a Newport flavor. But also, get something else. Get something sweet. Get something fruity. You have thousands of flavors to pick from. And most of the time, what we end up vaping has nothing to do with cigarettes. Even the tobacco flavors, they come back to pipe tobacco. I don't know too many people who've been vaping for over a year who is vaping a cigarette flavor. And that's just my 2 cents. So when you're doing that first juice order, I recommend variety, variety, variety. And take this information that you have here from me, go over to the forum or the outlet of your choice, ask questions, find that perfect kit, and you'll be good to go. I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm going to follow this video up with another one within a few days about starting out with a small Ecig-like battery, and then from there we're going to go starting out with an Ego. I'll show you how to start out with a big battery mod. We just want to get people started. We want to save lives, and we want to help, and that's the big thing. And everyone has the same idea of helping and reaching out, and we're so quick to share and show you that it does work. So, that's it. I'm Orel, also known as Swag Tech. You can email me if you want to, swagtech@gmail.com. You can find me on the electronic cigarette subreddit on Reddit. Very rarely am I on ECF. I lurk there a little while, but I mean, I'm rarely there. It's just a lot going on. It's a lot of people. They really don't need me over there. And you just find me around. So, yeah, if you got any questions, definitely let us know. We'll be happy to help out. Leave them in the comments section. If I'm not able to answer them, I guarantee you somebody else will stop by this video and they'll answer. And we'll all get it done, man. So, thanks so much for watching. I hope I helped. You guys just keep on vaping, safe clouds.